Buddy, good morning. I just wanted to take a little time to talk to you this morning about some common myths that I see, some common misinformation, if you will. Some of it is intentionally misleading, and some of it is just misinformation. You have to understand there's a lot of money at stake here. There's a lot of people that have a vested interest in selling you something, in trying to brainwash you into something that you need to buy or you need to do, or the latest gadget or gimmick and that sort of thing. And so I think it's really important to have somebody that doesn't have a vested interest in trying to sell you something when it comes to workout equipment or information for that matter. So, some of the common things that I hear from people when I'm talking to them when they join my program is that that they're not broken. A lot of people think they're broken, or there's something wrong with them, or that they're just lazy, that they lack willpower. I just don't have any willpower. I never follow through. I hear that from a lot of people, and or have bad genetics. And I just contend that if you understand the true philosophy behind all of this, and if you start to get results, willpower is a funny thing, because if people actually start to get results, they actually develop more willpower. The lack of willpower comes from trying to do the right thing, trying to do what you think is going to help you, and not seeing any results because you're using the wrong information. That's where the lack of willpower comes from. It's not you as a human being that's broken. Yeah, we could all do better, in certain areas, but I've found coaching men in particular, and women, that if they get results using the principles I teach them, then the willpower comes second. So I think a lot of people have that as a misconception. So some of the things that I hear commonly, especially as older folks, we're taught that low-fat diets, were the way to go. And it couldn't have been further from the truth. That research that was done was actually very flawed, where they thought that low-fat diets were going to decrease the rates of heart disease. It's absolutely not true. And in fact, the problem became, all the marketers jumped on this low-fat craze, and they found out that low-fat foods tasted like crap. And so what did they do? They started adding a bunch of sugar to that food to help make it palatable so you could gag it down. And so when they were trying to do something that helped us, it actually was hurting us in a big way. The other thing I hear and I see at the gym all the time that just makes me so sad to see is these people just killing themselves doing this chronic cardio, what I call chronic cardio. They're just running on the treadmill. They're dripping sweat. They're, just crushing it day after day after day after day, or they're out running on the trails. Here in Montana, we got some amazing trails. They're just running and dying and can barely catch their breath. The problem with chronic cardio, or that long-term cardio, number one, it actually stimulates, unless you're doing some resistance training, it stimulates your body to kind of catabolize or eat away some of the muscle. But the other problem that happens with long-term chronic cardio is you get hungry as a freaking bear. And so you go out and run your ass off, and then you come back to town and you're like, oh man, I really worked out hard today. I deserve, to this or that. I deserve to, a few extra calories, or this quote unquote healthy protein bar, whatever it is. And if you actually do the math and you look at it, you might have burned 400 or 500 calories, but you consume 1,000 calories extra because you're so damn hungry. And so the chronic cardio thing that we've been taught, and it all started benignly. It's like if, running a mile, jogging a mile, great. That could be good. But the problem is, well, if running a mile is good, then maybe we should run 5 miles and then maybe a half marathon and then a marathon. And then, well, that, marathon's not enough. We need to do an ultra marathon, and we need to do it in the mountains. And it just got way blown out of proportion. So chronic cardio is not the answer. Chronic cardio is not protective for your heart, and it's not good for your health because you end up consuming too many calories. Okay, in general, there's some people that can do it, but very rarely. And if you look at a lot of those people, look at a marathon runner, your typical winners of the New York Marathon, and then you look at a sprinter, a 100-yard dash or 100-meter dash sprinter, and look at who looks the most healthy. Is it the marathon runner or is it the sprinter who does those short bursts of cardio? And you can answer that question yourself. A lot of people think that it's just bad genetics, right? Here's the way, because I'm a hunter, here's the way I look at genetics. Genetics loads the gun, but your lifestyle actually pulls the trigger. And what I mean by that is you can have bad genetics, you can have the heart attack gene, whatever it might be, if you conduct yourself in such a way with your lifestyle, with the foods you eat, the recovery you get, the training you do in a controlled manner with the correct philosophy. If you do all those things, you don't ever need to express those quote unquote poor genetics. So they are not a death sentence, they're not a problem. It's only a problem if you have a lifestyle that makes those genes express themselves. So yeah, don't get me wrong, you still need to do the work, but just because you have poor genetics doesn't mean you're gonna have any particular problems. It doesn't work that way. The other myth I hear is, well, you're getting older, you need to take it easy. I mean, a lot of doctors will say it, you need to take it easy, you're getting older now, and that couldn't be further from the truth. This whole thing about sarcopenia, which is the loss of lean muscle tissue, as being a normal part of aging, the reason that's become part of the narrative for older people is because, yes, if you quit training, if you quit lifting heavy things, you will develop sarcopenia, you will lose muscle mass, but it's not because you're getting older, it's because you're not lifting any heavy things. It's as simple as that. So sarcopenia is not a normal part of aging, just as loss of bone, osteoporosis is not a normal part of aging. Again, if we stress the system mildly through resistance training, lifting heavy things, not the frickin' Navy SEAL workout, you don't need to go to that extreme, but if you lift heavy things and you put these mild stressors on the system, on the body, it will continue to maintain that muscle mass and even grow that muscle mass. I've done it myself with hundreds of clients that are in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s. The age part doesn't matter, the behavior part does matter. The other thing I hear that, well, processed foods are okay in moderation. And a lot of people say, well, what is a processed food? It's really simple. If it has more than one thing on the ingredient legend, it's likely a processed food. So if you think about poultry, what's it say on the ingredient legend? Chicken. What does a good steak say on the ingredient legend? Beef, right? What does a spear of asparagus say on the ingredient legend? Asparagus, right? So, I mean, it's really as simple as that. It doesn't need to be any more complicated than that. Any other things that are on there, especially things you don't know how to pronounce, words you don't know how to pronounce or you never heard, those are the things you need to stay away from, because these foods, these what I call frankenfoods, these processed foods, they're actually 100% designed to hijack your biology. There are people working full-time in labs, in white lab coats, that are really smart people. They're working full-time to make these foods as addicting and as palatable as possible. And to do that, they have to put things in there that we're not designed as human beings to eat. So in my opinion, no amount of processed foods are good for you, and they certainly won't help you. And then the other thing is, well, recovery isn't necessary. It's not that big a deal, or some people don't even think about that or focus on that. And we absolutely do need recovery. We need time for rebuilding and repair. It takes our body time. It maybe takes a little more time for people over 60 to recover, but it's we're splitting hairs here. It's maybe an hour or two. The bottom line is you've got to work hard, and then you've got to play hard or rest hard. So the recovery thing, what happens is if you go to this other extreme and you just work out all the time every day, even working the same muscle group back-to-back days, which is a big no-no at any age, it just keeps you stuck in this cycle of burnout and higher levels of inflammation. A little bit of inflammation is good, right? That's what, like if you get an infection in your finger from something, it starts to swell up. That's inflammation. That's your body sending in these shock troops to come in and clear up that infection and to get rid of it. So a little bit of inflammation is fine. It's just when it's chronic, long-term, that it gets out of control and it causes problems, and then we run into all these autoimmune diseases. So your biology is not broken. Your biology is perfect, but it's just responding exactly how it should. But the problem is it's responding to the wrong inputs. Okay, so if you're giving it the wrong information, the wrong inputs, your body's not going to respond in a way that's going to help you get stronger and better. And you've been trained to accept decline as a part of normal aging instead of demanding progress. And if you do that, then this lack of motivation that you perceive, it absolutely goes away. And when you start working with truth and the right philosophy and the right strategies, things become easy, and then you start to get the results that you want. So I want you to just reframe this. You don't need to try harder. You just need to try smarter or train smarter. There is a philosophy that works. It always has. It hasn't changed in the last 100 years. The only thing that's changed is the marketing. Okay, because you can't sell these old tried and true principles because there's nothing different to sell. So they have to come up with a new gadget, a new workout machine, a new workout regimen, different rep ranges. They tried, all these things. And in reality, the basic principles of stay away from processed foods, get enough sleep, try to manage your stress, lift heavy things with a smart philosophy. All of those things, when you do them on a consistent basis and you track them, which is what we're really expert at here in my company, is tracking those things. I tell people it's like running a business. You wouldn't think about investing in a business or buying stock in a business that didn't track the numbers, didn't track the metrics. Yet we take the most important thing in our life, our bodies, the only place we have to live, our bodies, and we treat it with such disrespect. We have no idea, how much we're supposed to eat. We have no idea how much we're supposed to train. We have no idea about how to manage stress or what that looks like, or is it a good stress or bad stress? We don't pay attention to any of those things. We do in our company, but most people don't. And when you start just paying attention and measuring those things, it's night and day. And when you start to get these results and you start doing these things, then willpower is not an issue, because there is no way you would not eat right and no way you would not go to the gym, because the results that you're going to get if you do those things, either right or wrong. Okay, so it's not a lack of willpower, it's not a lack of discipline, it's a matter that you have, of having the wrong information. So next week I'm running a free 3-day, I call it the hard to take down challenge, right? Um, for my hunter friends, it's, be able to pack a lot of lead, right? And so I'm running this challenge just because I want to help. I want to get this information in as many people's hands as I can. And it's really hard to do in a 5 or 10 minute, venue like this. So, reach out, send me a direct message, comment tough, and we'll get you signed up for the challenge next week. It will be recorded if there's a time constraint where you can't come that time. I just want to get this information to as many people, that want to feel strong, that want to regain control. And there's not going to be any fluff or none of that, high pressure sales stuff. It's just real life strategies that I've learned over time by coaching hundreds of people now. And a lot of this stuff is in my upcoming book, which will be out August 6th. So I'm excited about that. We'll talk more about that later. So reach out, DM me tough, make a comment, and we'll get you the information for the 3-day challenge next week. So I hope that helps. If you have any questions, same thing, reach out. I'm here for you. I want the best for you. And together we can do some amazing things. And the other thing to realize is that if we do this work, you and I, and we make ourselves better and other people are watching us, it inspires them to do better. That's how we're going to change the health of our aging community, because it's not going to come from big pharma. They have no incentive to keep us healthy. It's not going to come from big food. They have no incentive to keep us healthy. It's only going to come from us. And it takes a team, it takes a village, and that's why I'm doing this. So take care. Thanks for listening.